asking if they are not able to hear the voice. It's just that it's not started. We are waiting for 1 more minute for people to join, and then we'll start. I hope I'm audible. Okay. Great. I think it's 4:05 now, and we waited for 5 minutes. Let's start. So, what is this webinar about? This is a webinar where we expect people to use the self-service tool that we have provided, Ginesys Web Reports, right? So, this is a tool for the users to create and visualize their own data, right? So that they are able to see the reports, the data, how they want to present that, how do you want to visualize the data. All of that can be done through this web report tool. And this is basically self-service tool. So you can create a report, you can schedule a report, right? You can mail a report. So a lot of things that can be done through this reporting tool. And this is basically it's very user friendly. So but there are still issues where people are not very comfortable with that. So we are starting with this webinar series so that people can get a feel of this report, and if there are some starting issues, they can get a jump start to that. So basically I'll just start with the report, and then we'll come to like the nitty-gritties of this report. So let me just execute a report. I've taken an example of a good received register report. So most of the people who use Ginesys do use the procurement module and the good receive module part, right? So if we just execute this particular report, so the first page that was there was from the parameters, and then you see the report filters. I will come to the particulars of this particular screen. Why do we need a parameter? Why do we need a filter? And this is basically a report. We just see this report. It gives me an idea of what my site is, source site is, what are the suppliers that are there, and for that each of the supplier, what are the various good received document that we have got, right? And corresponding to that, what are the various items that are there. So, first thing that we need to do to create a report is understand two things. One, what do I need to see in my report? So what is my design? So in this particular design, what do you see? I want to see for me each of my source site, what are the suppliers, and for each of the suppliers, what are the various good received, GRCs, right? So of course, I need to have some filter. I want to see it for a particular month, maybe, or maybe a particular date range. I want to see it for let's say a particular quantity. How many suppliers are there with let's say with quantity 100, like that. So basically a report will answer your questions. A report will give you an insight of the data based on what you want to try to achieve from that, right? So that's the first part, what is required from that particular report. And the second thing that is needed is, how do I get the data? So many people think that this is not very let's say I don't know how to get the data. I don't know what are data sources. So for that also we have a tree structure that is available in the web reports, where we can see the various modules. So in this particular case, I'm going to the procurement module. So if you see this particular tree structure, you see that under procurement we have the various sources of data. So we have a cube source, wherein the materialized view refresh will cause this, the cube manager. Through cube manager you can refresh those cubes, and then you can see the data on for the particular data source that are available here. So you will be able to see, let me just expand this area, you will be able to see the various cubes that are there. So we have the good and receive analysis, we have the invoice analysis, purchase invoice analysis. So the various procurement cubes that are there, you will be able to see this, and you can use that in your report building. The next one is the transaction one. So the one which we will be using today it's the good receives, right? So we will use a GRC header under the transaction, under the good receive menu. So the various menus over here, good receive, good return, PO cancellation, all of this is there. So to visualize, to know what source you want to, get your data from, all of that is provided over here, right? So that is also available. So we have the transaction, we have the cube, then we have the composite where we have multiple data sources that we want the data from, and there's a report specific. So this is very particular to a particular report. So for the other things, you can use that in many reports, but these are very specific to that particular report. So if you want only the GSC charge summary, only that can be achieved through this. So this is a very specific reports, cannot be used for multiple reporting in most cases, right? So this is the data source. Okay. Now to design a report, we know the question, right? We know what we want. We want the source wise, site wise, supply wise data for the good GRCs, right? So to do that, let me just show you, switch to another screen, right? Give me a second. Okay. To understand the reports, we need to understand this particular concept of various sections, and that is would be helpful to achieve my report building, right? So to build a report, we have the various options in a report. We'll come to this. We'll see in this particular report what these all comes in as part of the report. But just to have a first understanding of what you want to see in the report. So the first question which I was asking is, what do I need to see in the report? I need to know where I need to place my various data fields, right? So my report header section, there's a section called as report header, in which you can have only information which will repeat only once in a report. So at the start of the report, you can see that particular section or the data that is provided in that particular section, and there will be report corresponding, there will be a report footer. I'll just show it here. So there will be a report footer at the bottom. So this is where again, it will be once per report, right? And under that report, there is a page header. So every page that you have on the particular report, maybe you have 10 pages, maybe 100 pages. On maybe there's some information that you want to print on all of the pages. Maybe there's a logo that you want to print on all of the pages. So that logo has to be set in your page header section. So this will repeat for every page, and your information will also repeat for every page. Similar to this, there will be a page footer section. So corresponding to this rather. So your page information, like your page number information, what is the print date? So that sort of information you will get for every page, right? That is your page header. And then comes the group header, which is the most essential part in your report. So there could be multiple groups in your report. So if I want to see let's say site-wise, supplier-wise, maybe some other thing, right? So supplier-wise, maybe date-wise. So all of those things that you want to see in the report as your requirement, as your report design, those has to go into your group header. So site will be one group, supplier would be another group, maybe your item will be another group, maybe some date will be some other group, right? So the level of detailing that you want to do, or the design you want to see, will determine what group headers that you create. And another important thing with respect to group header is, this is associated with sorts. I'll come to the part of the report design. So yeah, so this is the most important header section. Again, corresponding to that, you have a group footer. We'll see what are the group footers helpful for. And of course, there's a details section where you can see all the details. So all the granular information, data, maybe item information, maybe some charge information, all of those you can see is part of the detail section, right? So I'll switch back to the web page. Okay, I'll come back to this report. So what we have discussed is two things, the data sources and the design, right? So now if you see this particular design, what we see in this particular section is, as I explained, what are the various dates, what are the various good received numbers. Just saw a chat. Give me a second. Okay, we will have all this PPTs will provided after the webinar. Sure, we will do that. Right. So we can see all the various information there. What along with this you can see is the various options that we have. We have an export PDF option, so we can export this particular report in a PDF, right? So you will be able to see download this PDF, and then you can maybe send this across as a mail or something. So you can also export it as a Excel, and maybe you can further work on this through some pivoting or something like that. So all of those things, various renderings can be possible. There's various formatting. You can see that the supplier is in a violet or a purple shade, and then you have the GRCs mentioned in the gray shade. So all of this is like possible as part of the reporting. So you can design the data and then you can format the data, right? So let's start with the report. Let's create a report and see how easy or tough it is to create a report, right? We'll get started. We'll create a report under this demo. So you have this left pane over here where we can see the various reports. We can create folders, and then of course we can create we'll start with an advanced report here today. And in the further webinars, we will show you the other features that are there of the express views of the various dashboards. We'll come to that in for the next webinars that we are planning to publish, right? Okay. We have the PDF ready. We just quickly have a look at the PDF so that you can see how the output looks in a PDF. So this is the output that is looking. So since it is in a PDF, we see certain values that are like crunched here or wrapped here, right? So all of various settings can be done to change all of this, right? Maybe in Excel it would have been in a straight line. Anyway, we'll come to the various formattings as well. Right. Let's start with this report again. So we name it like webinar GRC. Right. And we put a description over here. So anyone who wants to execute this particular report can see the description for it. And we need to select a particular folder. So again, under this demo folder, I'm creating this webinar GRC report. And then first thing is to name the report, provide a folder for it. Then we go to the next categories. Now for categories, as we just told that we have the various data sources, right? Procurement, transaction, queue. So all those options you can see over here. So in this particular case, we would be seeing the good receive header, right? So we want all the header information with respect to what are the various good receive number, good receive date and all, right? So we'll pull it on the right hand side. And then we have the GRC item, again that we will pull here. Apart from this, many a times we need the master information, like with respect to GRC item, we need to maybe see what are the various categories, what are the various division section departments, right? So based on the requirement, if you want some information from the master, you can get them from the master. Another thing that you would see is that various options has been disabled. This is because whatever data sets we have pulled on the right hand side, they are not linked to let's say accounting year. They are not linked to say maybe a ERP ledger, right? So all of this is not linked, and that is why it is disabled. So only the ones that are linked or the ones that are joined, as we call it, you can see enabled over here, and only that can be then pulled onto the right hand side. right? So we have pulled the item over here, and we need maybe the owner site details, So we'll pull the owner site over here. So we have taken two transaction information from procurement, and we have taken two master information from the master folder, right? So from master we have taken two, and from procurement we have taken two. One was a good receive, one was a good receive item, right? So then we move on to the sorts. Now again, as we talked about in the diagram for the design, where we have the page footer, a page header, report header, group header. So all of my sorts are important for with respect to your group headers. So the first, as we said, we want the information based on my site. So I need the site to be my first group or first sort. So my report will start with site wise, right? Then I want it based on my supplier. So we haven't taken a master for the supplier. Probably we can take it from GRC itself, where we have the supplier name in the GRC data source itself. Give me a second. Right. So we have information with respect to the site, the supplier. Then probably we need it based on my date, right? So I'll go into, well, still in the GRC, and we can take it based on GRC date, and then we'll take it on GRC number. So these are the four sorts that we have, and then corresponding to this, you can have four groups as well, right? So your report basically becomes site wise, supplier wise, receive date wise, GRC receive number wise. This is your sort and also your group, right? Now, what are the filters that we need? First filter that we needed was with respect to a date. So we need a date range, right? So that is my requirement, that I want my report to show data for a particular date range, right? So I'll take it based on my receive date, right? And I will set it between two filters, two parameters. Now, what are these parameters? How would you know what parameters to use? We'll come to that. Parameters are very important, and parameters are very essential to run the report and give the first filtration to the user, right? So this is a very common parameter that everyone uses, or we use rather, is a date range, date from and date to. It's abbreviated as DTFR and DTATO, and you need to put the @ sign before and after it to identify if this is a parameter, right? Okay. What else do we need? Maybe we need to put some department here. So how will we get the department information? We can get it from item. Maybe division, section, department. We can take all of the three. If you type, you will get all of this information over here, right? So division, again, you have to use a parameter called as @division. Section, again, @section. Department. So we have the date filter and we have a string filter, basically searching based on my divisions, searching based on my sections, searching based on my departments, right? Maybe you can have a number filter. So probably you can use the receive quantity, GRC receive quantity, and you can put a filter on that. So any amount greater than that particular filter parameter selection, you can get the data based on that. So let's say I take the receive quantity and put it as greater than. So these are the various options that you have: greater than or equal to that particular parameter. The parameter that we're using, minimum delivery quantity, and we'll keep to. So we have got the date filters, we have got the string filters, and then we have got the number filter. So these all filters are provided. Apart from that, also you can provide further filters during the execution of the report. This is like in the designing of the report, but further filters are possible during the execution of the report as well. So yeah, I just restrict it to these 5, and then we'll move on to the layout, right? So I just show the report once again and just quickly see this. So I have got my sorting of site, I have got my sorting of supplier, I have got my sorting of date and goods receive number, right? So all of those are there. And if you see the top prompt, basically it provides me the various filters that we have. So we have the date from, the date to, division, section, department. You see that we have selected all over here. That means I don't want to filter on anything on this. I want to see all the data. Site name. Okay, so this is one filter we did not take. That's okay. We can always add this later on in the report. Right. So going back to that particular report, let's say we want to take all the item details instead of the header. Let's start with, if you see this particular example, we have the various item rates, receive rates, quantity, gross amount. So we'll just pull all of this data quickly and we'll see how easily you can create those data. So we have the item gross amount, we have item net amount. Sorry, taking it twice. Let's say I take the, what else do we have here? Gross amount, charge amount, net amount, quantity. Okay. So received quantity, net amount, gross amount, charge amount. Okay, so we just sort this. We'll start with the quantity field first, the gross amount, net amount at the last, right? So we can sort all of this, and we'll quickly see a preview of this report as we move to the final design section. So if you see the default, there's a page header that is there on which you have the labels that are there. What is the received quantity, right? So we are using the GRC item received quantity. It has automatically taken the name from the data source field. For GRC item gross amount also, it has taken the same name from the data source field. So all of this is done automatically. But let's say you don't want to keep this, you can go ahead and change this. You don't want it to be in caps, you can change this to be a camel case, camel case value. You say gross amount. You can say it's a charge amount, and pardon my spelling. And then we have the item net amount, right? So all of this various things can be done, right? So all of these are number fields, and what we do as part of the Ginesys convention is we keep all the numbers fields at the right hand side. So this is the pane where we can do a lot of formatting of the data. So we move it to the right hand side, right? So, and we also move the headers to the right hand side, and we quickly do a preview of this report. So we see what have we created and does it like make the sense, right? So all of move to the right hand side and this report. So we get the prompt for the date. The default date is the first of the financial year, 1st April, and today's date. Today's date. So if you want, we can change this to another date. Maybe we can keep today. So both my from date and to date is today, and I don't want to put any filters here. Okay. So if we say okay, missing expression SQL statement. Some issue here. Okay, I think spelling over here change. We will check this. Okay, I've taken the wrong parameter name. Okay. So you will see a drop down of all the divisions that are there, and you should be able to select the value of all, right? So good thing about parameter selection is once you select it, get cached, and next time when you execute this report, it will be there. And if you want to change it, of course, you can go ahead and change it, but it will be cached. So let's say you want to execute a same set of filters, I mean, same set of data. So you can do that. So you can see this, right? So I have my various items for which we have the quantity, I have the gross amount, I have the charge amount. There's no charge amount anyway, and there's a net amount. So now this does not look my report right over here. So of course there has to be some formatting that needs to be done. There's some columns that needs to be added. So what we can do is we can quickly start off with the various headers. Okay, let's go with the page header first and create what we need to see. So the report name we can use as, there's a parameter for that as well. We can go ahead and insert a formula here, right? We can, so the formula field is basically to verify if I'm doing it correctly or not. Right, so it turns green. So I know this is now correct. And there's a section which you can see. Close this windows. Yeah. So there's a organization unit name on the top. So we'll provide that as well. So I can right click on the row over here and you can insert a row before that. And I then, very importantly, if I want to see my organization name on the entire page, right? So I'll select all these values and merge the records, right? So this is my single cell now. Now I click on this. Earlier we used a right click and insert a function formula over here. Alternatively, what you can do is you can just click the formula editor over here. So all of my options are there here. You can right click also, and you can also take it from the toolbar there. So I want to show my convo name. But I want it to be the biggest size in this. If you see this particular example, the size is the biggest over here. So what I will do is I can change the font of it. I'll make this font as, let's say, 13, make it bold. I take the bold option over here, make it center aligned, and maybe I can just reduce the report name to a different size, maybe 11, 12. And I want to put all the various selections. Whatever I have selected in my report, I want to see it after the execution of the report. So I know, if you see this, I know that I have selected from a particular date range. What was my date range that I selected for this report? What was my division, section, department? What was the site that I have selected, and what was the quantity that I have selected? To know all of this, we can, as part of the execution, we can edit, insert all the values for the particular filters. So this is one important thing about filters is after the execution of the report, my filter value, parameter values are stored, right? So I can always see that. So in this particular formula editor, right? Whatever parameters I have selected, I have provided a text for that. So I say date from date to, and I concatenate it with the date from field, date from parameter. So I know what date from was selected. Again, the similar for the date to and the other parameters as well. So division, section, department, and site name. We are not using the site name, so I'll just remove this particular one. And what was the minimum delivery quantity, right? So I can concatenate all these various parameters. I can put my custom text, and I can see what my report was wants to be, right? So again, I will put this as central aligned, right? And quickly run this report so that we can see what changes we have done. Are we on the track or not? So as I told you earlier, all my previous selections get cached. So I don't need to change anything. I can just press OK. And voila. There you can see the report. My organization unit name is there. My report name is there. And my selections are there. And all of my data which was there previously, I can see that again as well. So that is all good. Moving on to, if we see this particular report, we see there are two headers over there, right? So that can again also very easily be achieved. So I can just insert a row after or maybe before, depending on what I need, right? But we need a lot of columns here. Maybe I can just add 2 or 3 columns here rather than, just to save time. Probably we don't need to go all the data, show all the data, right? I can just add 2 or 3 columns with respect to goods received. So okay, I want to show my. Now you can very easily provide the information with respect to the good received over here. So I provide my, let's say, the received number and received date. And I want to provide the group header information in a different line. So I take the bottom line and set as date. And I say document, right? I can make this as bold. And I can shade the entire area with a particular setting of, I can do the settings, formatting of all the cells, right? So I can select any of the colors. I can provide a border to it. So I can take the formatting options over here, or like I said earlier, I can right click and just change the data. So I can put a top border, bottom border. Okay, so I can see the various data on the top of the report. Again, I quickly run this report. Okay, I need to format this data. It doesn't look good. Give me a second. I will not execute this report. I'll just quickly make changes on this particular section here. Let's see. Again, merge these cells. the cells, Amazon, just run the report. Right. Again, we see now we're getting more information, right? We can of course change the view from here as well. We can pull this, change this, right? We can do things to, visualization wise also we can change a lot of things. There are interactive options as well. So after the report gets rendered, you have other interactive options as well. We'll cover those as part of the future webinars. Right? So this still doesn't look like the report that we created earlier, right? We have more information that we need to provide here. I'll quickly come to that. Okay, but before doing that, you see there's a details section. So we have one group, one section as page header and one section as details, right? So first section that we need to add is with respect to a group header for site, where we'll put the site information. Okay, so we take the site code. That was the first sort that we have created. If you remember, I'll just quickly show you that, and we can also do it. So there's a top left setting pane we have, right? Read report options. We can always go and check those sorts. We can always change the sorts. So while creating the report, we have created, let's say, 4 sorts. Maybe after creating the report, we can go ahead and change the sort with, maybe let's say the article name can change, add at the bottom of the report. Bottom of this, we can pull this up. Of course, it depends on what you need to the design to be, right? So I'll cancel this. I will add the section as group header, and I will take the site code, of course, and I will put the site name information over there, right? Okay. I can insert the formula. I'll use my custom string and the sort code information that we have. And again, I'll merge this data so that I can see this in the entire line. Bold this. I'll increase the size. Right. The next thing that we have in that particular report is a section for group header for supplier. So we'll take that, and we can just drag it from here as well, not a problem. So I can drag it over here, merge the rows. If I want to edit, let's say I want to put a supplier name, or let's say I want to put a GRC custom string that you want to add. So we can just quickly write that here, GRC supplier oh sorry, %, right? So let's put a colon here, and we put some coloring, as if you remember this, we had put some purple shade to the supplier section, right? So we'll do that. We will select a background color, let's say purple, this one, right? And just on this report. Okay, and to a different color. Right, the selections again, why we don't have to change anything. Okay, we're getting there. So I'll just show you there was supplier, and then there was GRC details. If you see the latest report, source site, supplier name, then we have the GRC details. But this GRC information is repeating too much for my liking. I don't want this GRC to be repeating so many times. For me, it is not good. So what do I need to do? I need to group this particular GRC and just show me the item details. I'll do that. How will I do that? Similar, again, we'll select a group header for that. We'll select, let's say, a receipt number. Now we have the site, the supplier, and the receipt number, and we'll shift this to there, right? So these two data will not repeat for the entire detail section. Only the item level information will repeat for all the detail section, right? So this is done. Now I want to, okay. Now I want to see what are the values. I mean, at the GRC level. So I have my individual records. I know this particular GRC 21 has got so many quantities. So there are 4 items on this particular GRC, and there are various quantities. Now I want some summary information. I want that how many total quantity was received as part of this particular GRC. What was the total gross amount, right? So you will see that in the particular document as well. So we'll come to that. So that I want to see. So for that, you need to provide a footer section. Right? And what we need to put the footer section on the one for which you want to see the summarized information. I want to see good received number wise total quantity, good received number wise total net amount, right? So that for that particular sort or that particular group, we need to provide a group footer section, right? So I got my footer section, but I need to do an aggregation of my quantity. So there are 2 ways. One, I can just copy this here, click this and do a summarization of this. So there will be a do auto sum, right? Other ways, I use a formatting. I use a function rather called aggregate sum. So if I type AGG SUM, I get my function. So this is my aggregate function that is being used, right? So these are the 2 ways that you can do it. We suggest to use the aggregate function because this makes deep analyzing easy, because someone might ignore that the summation function already applied on this particular cell, right? So that is how we do it, but you can check any approach. So you can just keep a control click and you can just copy that. So I click the cell, press the control key, and I can shift the cell. So it gets copied from there. Else you can just do a control C, control V as well. So it gets copied through that as well, right? Many ways to do the same thing. Now I will just keep the summation function over here and an aggregate function over here. Right. Maybe I'll just bold this area, make this bold and increase the size, right? So just quickly run this report again, just to see what are the effects that have taken place. Right. So you see that the GRC numbers are not repeating right now because they are in the group now. All those GRC are now in a group. I get my quantity, I get sum total at the bottom, right? But we see a lot of space that seems to be wasted here, right? So if you see the earlier design was pretty neat. We have the GRC number over here and we have the total of the quantity over here. Probably wouldn't get it from here. This particular example, we have the value over here. So all of these values are getting totaled and showing against the GRC, right? So we'll do that. So to do that, in the header section, you need to refer the footer section, which is called cell reference. It's similar to what we have in Excel. So if I do is equal to C11, right? So I'm referencing this particular cell, right? So I'm referencing this particular cell. So I will be able to get the value from the footer to the header, right? So that is how we do a referencing, right? Similarly for D11, E11, I just 11, right? Do a right alignment, maybe change the decimal places for this, format the cells. So for a number, we might keep 2 decimal places, keep the 100 separator, 1000 separator, right? All of this, make this bold again. And now, if you don't want to show the photo section, you can just right click on this particular number 11, right? This section, and you can just suppress this. And you can just run this report. You will get a neat GRC level summation and the item details. I just close the previous executions so that it might not cause any. Okay, there was some error here. I missed out a bracket here. Okay. Okay. Let me just finally do a total on the supplier and site, and maybe add the page number and page this thing, print it, and I think we will be able to get report close to that. Okay. Before that, let me just add the item details to this, right? So I need to show the item name. It's not available in my GRC item data source. I can need to get that from the master. So here's where the master comes in handy. I can get information which are there in my masters, which are not there in the transactions. You can get it from here. So I want to show me the item name. I can show. Let's say I want to show the barcode. I can show here. I can do just a bold on this. I can increase the size from here, right? So my report will, the effect will take place in the report accordingly. And section for a group footer for site-wise total, or let's say do a supplier-wise total. That will be more easy to understand. This doesn't show. This should move up. And if I copy all of this data here and write a total here, let's say supply total. Right. Maybe add a line on top of this, do a formatting on this, put a border, and run this report again. So this you will see that I will get all my suppliers and I will get the supplier totals as well. Right. So Adinath Bastralay, it has 2 GRC orders and sum total for the supplier is this. A new supplier has this, right? There's only 1 GRC for it, and the VM trader has got this. So I now am able to see on this, my particular site for a particular date on 6th of November. I'm able to see that there are 3 suppliers that are there, and for each supplier, what is my total goods received that has done, right? So this is what we are trying to achieve in this similar this report on the same. There's a few more information with respect to the RSP and the rates, right? So yeah. So okay, now let me put the part where we can introduce the page footer, where we can see the print date number, right? I mean page number and print date. So let me add a section for page footer. Again, this is something that we need to understand, that what are the various functions that are there. So there's a date function that we need to understand. Let's quickly. page number over here. And there's a page number function. So if you want to find many functions, you have to take the formula editor field, and you can be able to see various functions, and there's a description for most of the functions that are there, right? In fact, all of the functions have some description over there. So you will be able to, get guidance from here. So if just say page number, this functions are there. You can use this function and use this in the report to get the desired output. So there, like this, there are many other functions which can be used with, let's say, with respect to logos, with respect to barcodes, with respect to QR codes. Many people are now using QR codes now. So there are many functions for that. So people can use those and get the particular report, designing, format, all of these things. Let me just conclude this last part, make this, sorry. I can just copy the formatting from another cell through this option, format. If you see format paintbrush, so I can copy it from different cells, right? And lastly, I'll just put a section for a report total, report footer, where I will get a grand total for this particular report. Right. So on that particular day, I want to see my entire transaction details. Right. Okay, that's too big a size. Would look good. And this report. Shall I webinar? Hello. Okay, some network issues seems to be there. I'm not able to run this. Is my voice audible?
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen some network issues that I'm not able to run this report. Just close this one. Save. Okay, now it's come. Let's see the output of this particular report. We have done most of the formatting, what we had initially set to do, right? Right. So we have information. Let's expand this area. So yeah. So this is my report. I have my GIS document, date, quantity, gross amount, all this information. We have the supplier total and we have the grand total, right? We can do a site-wise total as well, but that's okay. So we get the idea of what are the various sections. Okay, let me start from the beginning. What are the various data sources? How do we identify the various data sources that we need to use for designing the report? So your categories, and what if to design the report, what is your requirement? You need to understand that. What is my basis for my report design? And based on that, you can design it based on understanding of the various group headers, page headers, report headers, and all this information, right? So yeah. Apart from this, there are a lot of other things that can be done through the web reports. As I mentioned at the starting of the call, we can do various schedulings. We have many functions that we need to see. We can do a page break. We can do repeating groups, right? So a lot of that various concepts are there which are unique here, and there are They are very useful for creating reports. I mean, those will be at an advanced level that you will be using it, right? But what we saw here is various sortings, groupings, right? Cell referencing we have seen the margin of the cells. We have the various fonts, formattings that we have seen today, right? And how do we create a report from scratch? So we have done all of these things. And I think, yeah, that is from my side. Hopefully, if, well, taken a little bit longer, but I hope it has helped a lot. Okay, there are a few questions. How do a layman know the formulas, right? So there is an option on the, as I showed you in the formula editor, there are there. And apart from that, there are documentations that are there, which can be referred. I think there was a question from Anurag Dubey. Okay, there. Okay. Why charge amount is not calculating? There's a question from Naveen Kumar on that. Okay, I'll have to check that. Probably I've taken a different field. Let me see what field that is. Give me a second. I've taken GRC tax amount, other charge amount. Give me a second. I'll rectify that. Maybe I have used a different field, which is not the right field. I can choose that. Tax charge amount. Oh, tax charge amount, right? Sorry, tax charge amount. Right, sorry. My bad. I've used the wrong field here. Okay, let me run this report again. You can always go ahead and verify this against the document. What is the values that are there showing in the report is as per the document that you have created, right? So that kind of validation can always be done, right? So you have the charge amount now, and like you see here, we have the formatting for 1000 separator. Here we do not have that, so you can do it at your own will. You can make change settings. You can put decimal places after that, right? 92.000. You can put that, or you can keep it's just integer values. So all of those various formatting options are there provided at your fingertips. You can use it. You can use it as per your requirement. You can change the colors. Formatting options you have galore, right? So anything else that we can in a single click? So Siddharth, Raju, right? Okay, let me. How to create a border box on a single selected row in a single click? Of course, there's an option, right? So if you can select a cell and you can click on this particular formatting option, right? You can select the border, select what borders you want: top border, side border, left, right, bottom, right? Right, Rohit, you want me to take up all the questions now, or we can take this up later?
No, now itself. Whatever questions we can find are relevant, we can answer it. I've
Sure.
answered already, actually.
There's a question with showing the formula for page number of total pages. No, that feature we do not have right now, but we will be working on this. So once we have that, we will share that with you, right? there's already a TDS register. Sushant Pawar has asked a question with respect to TDS register. There's already a register available as part of the canned reports. You can use that, and if you face an issue, you can raise a issue. I mean, raise a ticket with us, right? Right. Is a Cube Manager useful and for what reports? Okay, Cube Manager is for Vishal Mehta has asked this question. Cube Manager is basically for those reports which generally take a long time if you want to execute it from the live data source. So we have various concepts for persistent views, live views, like that. So Cube Manager is something that is not real-time data. It gives me a snapshot data for earlier timestamp or the refresh timestamp, right? So that is why Cube Manager is used, and it is used for reports which takes longer time to execute, right? Okay, there's a question for how to format a date like 1 Jan 2020, right? So you can do that. You can right click format cells, date, you can select that, DD, MMM, why. So that was a question that was asked, right? DD, so Shidurga was asking that, and if you do that, you should be able to see in that particular format. I'll ping you that particular format, but I hope you know how to use that from the number formatting. So you will see this, right? So this is the one you requested. I think that's answered. How do you identify cube refreshed or not when we run a report? No, it has to be identified through Cube Manager. Can we group header time of layout? Yes, you can do that. There's an option for that as well. In closing stock part of the Cube Manager as on a particular date. Is closing stock part of Cube? I'm not too sure if I understand this question correctly. Is closing stock part of Cube Manager? Vishal has asked.
I think need to be reframe that question. If Mr. Mehta can just reframe the question so that we can answer.
Okay, Harish knows some date format changes after exporting report to Excel. Okay, need to check this.
So actually, this happens sometime when your system date format is in different way. Means if it's a report, it's designed with a DDMM format, but in your system, if it's a MMDD format, then when you open it, the report in Excel, then it will show as per your system format. So that's why it may change somewhere. So you have to check your system date format.
Yes, Vishal, you can use the various cubes that are there for stock to check the closing stock as on a particular date, as on date. There is there, information is there. Okay, is there a provision to who has run the report to stamp in the report? Yes, as far as a report which is not logged, it is there. You would have the user ID the login ID for which you The last login ID, basically, last.
I guess something Mr. Raju has asked that where to run the report. So we do not store that, right? So whatever the data has been stored with created by that is been stored. But when report, if multiple time report is already run, and who are the users who have run this, we do not store that.
Okay, can we select? Can we create like select brand, fast GRC and fast bill and last bill? I am not too sure if I understand your question, Mr. Ranga.
Last GRC, last building.
Oh, okay. Last GRC and last bill date. We can of course select a brand, yes, but last GRC, last bill date, it has to be. Maybe it can be done through a top thing. I'll have to check this. I'm not very sure.
We do a sort by build date and take top one. Then
Yeah, wait, top end.
Yeah, we can do it's a mean max, mean or max kind of from the date. So need to check because based on the format, right, Kuntal?
Yeah, we can use in top N. I think you can use it.
Yeah,
Top end filter.
right.
How to change enough? Okay, I missed question. Please provide a report which is related to internal audit of stock. Promote Kangal Kandagle.
We have one report for stock audit verification and adjustments. There is separate reports, but not for internal audit purpose. That's actually
I think we also have a stock audit report,
that's a stock audit report basically, but for
physical
not
stock audit.
yeah, but not for internal audit perspective. So I think if you can share the formats through our that care portal, and we can validate whether we can provide on this. Here, one thing is that we have one feature we have added recently, that audit log for different transactions. So you can check out from there if something can be addressed from there itself.
Is there an option where I can save IMP report in my desktop? As
important reports.
in my desktop, and I can run from there quickly. No,
No, the reports are on web. So no option on desktop.
no desktop option for this. Okay. How to upload data in template which is in setting? Yes. Data in template. No, there you can upload template, not data in template. Mr. Anthony Reno has asked this. It's basically to provide a layout for which you want to see the report. Let's say you have a template which you're using currently. It may be an Excel template, it can be a PDF template, and you need to provide the pointers for that. I mean, do a mapping for that, right? Uh,
Just to add with
I
Kuntal
can
that
quickly show
yeah,
you one.
yeah, if
I
you can.
already have one. So this is
I,
my a report where I have my data, right? So on this, I have a PDF template that has been, uploaded. So it's taking too much time to open.
in the meantime, Jay, if I just update you that template is normally used in a scenario. Suppose you have some pivots in Excel, you have some predefined formats report, and the raw data you want to raw data is available in different sheet. based on that raw data, you have prepared one pivot kind of reports. So if you want to populate those raw data from our reporting platform, so in that case you can use this template also, right? Like suppose if you have a GRC details in the raw data format, like GRC date, GRC number, vendor, and all those things. Now you have prepared something vendor wise, grouped, pivot, layout. So you can populate those raw data through our this template feature, and you can have the your own that pivot report when you will download that Excel.
Uh, right, so just typing in some answers. Right, there's a question asked by anonymous attendee. How to find the? Sorry, I'm just losing it. Parameter details which are asking the time of reporting, right? So there is a option in the server. Again, this is part of let's say the advanced webinar or the next webinar maybe, where we can see the parameters that have been created, that have been used, and that can be still used further in a report, right? So, right. Ravi Shankar Shaw has asked, can we see the report for only the 4 departments? But they are from different sections or department. If yes, please show it. Can we see report for only 4 departments? There. Can anyone know what this means?
Whether he is asking for department filtration, that he wants to see the reports based on particular filters set by him, like port filters. Is this
Yes, Ravi Shankar has answered on the chat. Yes.
okay? Then it's fine, because we can. I think Kuntal, we can just have a filtrations on, like if you
Yeah,
put
yeah. So basically, you want a multi-select, right? Is that a? I think what we are asking. So what we have used a parameter. Parameters are basically for single selects. But if you want multi-select options to be there, you can use that as part of a filter, right? And all of those various, if you want to use 2 or 3 departments, 2 or 3, 2 or 3 divisions, 2 or 3 sections, and 2 or 3 departments that you are interested in, you can do that as part of the filter process. You can create a filter and you can give a one-off option. So it's taking too much time now. It's not showing. I think there's some problem with the server. Oh, I lost the connection there. Right. Other questions? Can you see? Only 4 departments. Okay. Let me just go to the report. And instead of using the parameters, what we'll do is we'll go to the filter section and we'll assign 3 parameters against the department's division, section, and department. Instead of that, what we'll do is keep it prompted. We'll remove the parameter assignment and we'll make it as one-off, right? So if you do this, what it will give is, it will give me an option for selecting multiple divisions, sections, and okay, I have another call coming up, and departments, right? Okay, I'll remove this particular value. So if I keep this prompted, and run this report, this parameter section becomes ineffective now. So whatever you choose over here now makes will be getting effective in your report. So I can select accessories, FMCG, men maybe, right? I can select section, corresponding section as 43 footwear, men's, and shirt. So I can do a multi-select now correspondingly, right? Probably won't have data for that. But yes, the point I'm trying to make here is you will have data. I mean, you can do a multi-select for that, such things. Okay.
No, actually, Mr. Ravi Shankar has made some another comment that different department name showing as single name means, but I think that's something
Oh,
need to understand in detail, I guess, because department it's all departments are complete from different perspectives, so it cannot be combined in a single field. I guess we need to understand that in detail. If you can share with our support team that whether you have any requirements that we can address that over there. W- because it's quite
okay, saying 4 different department names showing as a single name.
right. So why it's maybe something which may be difficult, I guess, because departments in a single name how to show means. So I think we need to understand that in detail with his format so that we can address properly. Right, Kuntal?
Yes, it can be done through aggregate concatenation, but it's a complex.
No, actually, category 1, 2, 4, or department section we can concatenate, but 2, 3, or 4 departments will come in a different row. So how to concatenate that?
Yes, yes, we can do that. Like we are doing for delivery challan, right? So we are concatenating different delivery challans into a single row or single cell, right?
Okay, okay, okay. That thing. Okay, I think. But
Similar to that.
in that case, how to
But
show the
it's a
data
complex
different?
this thing. Okay,
Right.
use it in a OLAP case function. Need to check. I am not very sure. It can be done basically. I can say it can be done. It's a little complex, but yeah, I need to check. Anything else? I have another call in 7 minutes. How to create store report and how to track receive or not? Please explain.
Oh, there is a report from side-to-side movement cube that the side-to-side movement cube-based data source is available. From there, you can just have this drag and drop, and you can do. And if you can just wait, we'll be coming up with some solution for this, maybe with next December end release.
So, hello. HSN code can be just can be pulled from the data source, right? You can take it from the master or you can take it from transaction. Any place you can take this from. It's there in the master, of course. You can use the HSN code and you can pull it over here. And also the transaction is there somewhere. Check. There are no further open questions. Rohit, what do you want to do?
Yeah, we are done, so we'll close it now.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for all. All right. There's one last question from Naveen. I'll just ask him to raise a care ticket for like.